Adam Chris for MyMMANews.com, being joined by Ashlee Evans-Smith, one of our sponsored fighters here at the 2015 MMA Classic Expo. Ashlee, appreciate you taking the time.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, I got to ask first and foremost, what have you enjoyed so far about this expo, and what are you looking forward to today on the final day?
The first day was amazing. You know, it was really nice to meet some legends that, you know, I'd only heard about. I got to talk to them one-on-one and, you know, actually talk shop and, you know, get the ins and outs of the past, you know, the organization they were in, you know, the experience, the different kind of fights they've been in, and just how the sport's grown. And that in itself has been just my favorite part.
Now, how the fans been treating you? Have you gotten a lot of interaction? You've met a lot of fans, a lot of the little kids on top of the grown adults. How have they been treating you?
The fans are also amazing. You know, that's definitely one of my favorite parts here. Super nice, just very accommodating, and it makes me feel really honored to have so many fans here in New York, or fans that have traveled like Michigan and Pennsylvania, you know, far just to come and get a signature, an autograph. And, you know, it's very humbling, and I feel honored.
Now, going on top of that, we had a contest, you know, people that are going to, you know, pay to have lunch with Ashlee Evans-Smith. We finally had that winner yesterday. How did lunch go for you?
Yeah, some guy paid to have lunch with me, which is like pretty awesome. And, you know, that money's going to help support, you know, MyMMANews and fly me out and all the expenses. And, you know, that guy was awesome. He was just a really nice person. You know, he just wanted to talk about fighting, and he drove 5 hours to have lunch, had lunch, and then turned right back around and drove another 5 hours. So that was really awesome, and you know, that's a real fan.
Now, I want to touch on some of the controversial topics that are pretty popular in the MMA world right now. Let's talk about the Reebok deal. Everybody wants to talk about it, you know, the benefits, how it's negative. What's your personal take on it?
You know, I'm kind of low woman on the totem pole right now, and I don't really feel like I have that much pull in my opinion. And you know, I mean, it's hard situation to talk about without sounding against the organization that I'm a part of. I think it's a little disheartening because I feel like it takes out the individuality of the fighter. You know, I understand what the UFC is trying to do as far as, you know, create a uniformed look like other sports and you know, all that. I understand what they're trying to do, but for me, someone who really values the individuality of the sport and, you know, our banners, the sponsors that we bring, you know, like kind of creating our own little image with that kind of, you know, with those specific things, I'm disappointed. But I'm still obviously grateful to be a part of the organization, and I'm going to adapt.
Now, let's go further with the Nick Diaz situation. A lot of people are saying it's a little harsh, and then comparing it to the John Jones situation and so forth. What's your personal take on all of that?
You know, I've said it before, you know, like you can't make any excuse for breaking the rules. You know, the rules are right there written out, and, you know, even me, you know, I was suspended for diuretics, and, you know, I've never made an excuse like, oh, I didn't know, or it was a misunderstanding. It's like, you know, it happened, you know, you serve your time and you get back to work. With the Nick Diaz situation, same situation, you know, there's no excuse for breaking the rules. It's written right there, you know, don't smoke weed, you know, but I do believe that there should be certain levels to these punishments, you know, like, all right, there's cocaine and there's you know, steroids and stuff, you know, and then you got like weed and diuretics, and it's like, I'm not saying it's okay, and I'm not saying that, like, you know, certain rules are okay to break. I'm not saying that, but I do think there should be levels. That's just my opinion, you know, and 5 years, in my opinion, is absolutely ridiculous. And
the punishment should fit the crime.
Yes, you know, and who is to say what fits what is obviously the commission, but you know, just right now the way it is with the levels, it's not fair at all. And hashtag free Nick Diaz.
Now let's go on to the personal side of Ashlee Evans-Smith. You've labeled yourself a punk rock chick back, you know, in previous interviews, everything like that. What made you grow up in that sense of way and, you know, a little bit rough around the edges? And also, I want to ask you, favorite punk band of all time, coming from a punk background myself.
Well, you know, I came from a small town, Ukiah, California, and there wasn't much to do, you know, and I wasn't into sports right away. I did get in, you know, later, but I just started hanging out with a bunch of kids that just like playing music and going to shows, and you know, that became like a little family, and, you know, and you kind of just really adapt to, you know, you kind of just take on the environment of your family, and we're just always at shows, and we're always getting into trouble, you know, and I like it still to this day. You know, I love going to shows, I love listening to music, you know, I try not to get into as much trouble Try.
Keyword try.
Yeah, I try not to get too much trouble. But like it's just become like a part of me, you know. It's just like, you know, waking up and eating breakfast, and you know, it's something that I do every single day. I wake up, I listen to music, I eat breakfast, I go to training. It's who I am now. And you know, punk is my favorite genre, you know. But like I love all music. I'm not super into hip hop and rap, but like I like country, you know, like I'll listen to classical, you know, to calm me down in certain situations. I love music. I love it with all my heart, just like almost as much as I love fighting and sports. Favorite punk band? It's hard because there's so many, but this is the band that really just, it kind of just is me as a person, and that's Rancid.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rancid, yeah.
Why Rancid? You said it fits you. Let's add some detail.
You know, there's hardcore and there's like poppy punk, and you know, Rancid is somewhere in the middle. You know, it's not like scream your lungs out, but it's also not like let's sing about getting my heart broken. You know, it's somewhere in the middle where it's like, you know, more. It's a very chill punk in my opinion, and you know, I'd say I'm kind of a chill punk rocker. You know, I'm not super hardcore, you know, and I'm not super like weenie, you know. I'm somewhere in the middle, you know. I like to be nice to people, but I also like to throw down in the cage.
Now, also touching on personal topics, you're a vegan, correct?
Wrong.
Wrong.
I'm a vegetarian.
Yes,
I do eat a lot of vegan meals, and at home it's all vegan ingredients. But you know, we go out and we eat, and it's very hard. So I can't, you know, I don't want to lie and be like, oh, I'm a vegan, you know, like, because I do eat eggs and other like cheeses on occasion, that kind of stuff, you know. But I'm definitely been a vegetarian for over 8 years, and you know, vegan is the next step, but it's kind of pricey sometimes, you know, and just inconvenient. And you know, I want to work with the right nutritionist to make sure I get my health requirements while being a vegan. So I'm making that transition.
Now, I'm curious, why is that so important to you? And for the fans that might not know, how can that benefit them? And you know, if they're potential, you know, MMA careers.
You know, it's definitely a life decision. You know, it's a huge thing. You know, and your body can really do well with it. You know, it's. There's people that say like, oh, I went vegan and I just felt awful. Well, you weren't eating the right things, you know, and you got to be educated when you do it. You don't just eat a bunch of lettuce, you know. But for me, it's beneficial. You know, I'm eating cleaner. You know, nowadays in any kind of meat, whether it's chicken or fish or you know, beef, there's hormones, there's antibiotics, there's all these, you know, preservatives that are in food. And when you're in a vegan or vegetarian diet, there's just less of those things, that chemicals that shouldn't be in your body. Right. And that's just a duh, you know. So it doesn't just help MMA fighters, it helps anyone, you know. And there's just so many health benefits, I couldn't even like list them. But I would suggest, if you're gonna try and be a vegan or vegetarian, gradually get into it, you know. Take out something that's horrible, just stop eating red meat, you know, like see how you feel, you know. Maybe then stop eating chicken, you know, maybe just go to fish, and then just slowly wean yourself onto it. But yeah, I'm not a huge advocate. I don't like to be preachy, you know. If you're eating a steak and I'm eating a veggie burger, I'm not gonna shake my finger at you, you know, like that's your own life decision. But yeah, I think vegetarianism and veganism is just an amazing way of life.
Now, for the potential people that are interested in Ashlee Smith, does a man have to be a vegetarian or vegan to be dating Ashlee Evans-Smith?
Well, that is a funny question. Honestly, of my 8 years being a vegetarian, I've never ever dated anyone that was also a vegetarian. Yeah, which is really weird, you know. I've never met anyone that like lived that lifestyle that also had other qualities that I desired. So maybe he's out there.
Keep on the lookout for this one. Now, final question. When can we expect you back in the cage, and what can the fans expect out of you in your next performance?
Oh, man. You know, I wish I could tell you December, blah, blah, blah. But I'm waiting for that phone call, eagerly waiting, you know, training as I await. I'm so excited. You know, I watched the Ai and Pena fight last night, and, like, you know, it gives me goosebumps, and I get antsy, you know, and I feel like punching the person next to me.
Oh, that's not fair. I was next to you.
Yeah, you were. You know, I just don't know at this time. You know, I'm going to say in the next couple minutes, maybe at the very end of the year, maybe the early next year, you know, UFC, please call me, you know, like, I'm ready. And then what was the other part of the question?
What can we expect out of you?
Oh, I mean, come on. Like, you know, have I ever put on a boring fight? You know, like, I'm not tooting my own horn, but, like, I get after it, you know? Like, there's no time to waste, you know? Like, a 3 or 5 minute round, you know, I just feel like you got to get after it, you know, like, and I'll never leave it into the hands of the judges, you know, like I finish my fights, you know, and I perform to the best of my abilities. I'm never going to choke or be a boring fighter or run around the cage. You're always going to see an exciting fight.
Now tell the fans that might not know how they can keep in contact with Ashlee Evans-Smith. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, it's all you.
Awesome. Okay. Well, yes, I am on Facebook, Ashlee Evans-Smith, and then Twitter and Instagram are almost the same. It's Ashlee MMA for Instagram, and then Ashlee MMA 1 for Twitter. I'm also on Periscope. It's my new thing. I'm getting into it.
Yeah. I saw that yesterday. You were going around quite a bit with it.
So it's the same Twitter handle, Ashlee MMA 1, and then I don't know. I'm shooting things. You can see my life. I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of cool though.
Well, there she goes, ladies and gentlemen. Ashlee Evans-Smith. Ashlee, I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Thanks.